Hey there everyone, it's Game Camilla here, back at you with another video, and today we're looking at a little bit more advanced tips for Super Mario 35. Now if you haven't, take a look at my previous video where I looked over some tips and tricks for Super Mario 35, but in this video we're going to build on that, show you a few more advanced tricks to incorporate in your game as you attempt to get those wins, get those W's. Now, I'll be upfront and honest, it's getting harder to get those wins. The competition's getting harder, getting tougher. We're having some casuals drop, definitely. It is something I think Nintendo needs to address with this game. There's a few things that I've talked about with the numerous viewers and friends over the last few days. They need to really try to entice this game to keep people to play it, because if people don't play it, well, there is no Super Mario 35. But hopefully, with these advanced tips and tricks, hopefully this will help you keep in the game and get those wins. Let's get to it. The first tip I'm going to show you is that shells rack up way more time than just using fireballs or just jumping on them. It's also quicker. So if you have a Koopa coming at you, pop the shell out, and you know how to kick it. It's just like every Mario game. Kick it to it, and it will rack up points really fast. The same works for the Buzzy Beetle. Works for the Beetles. Kick them, you will rack up a lot of time really fast, especially if they sent a lot of enemies towards you. You will rack up time like no tomorrow. Of course, the Starman is a good way to rack up time too. If you get that, focus on those enemies, knock them out. You will rack up time really fast, and that's pretty important for the end game. Another way to rack up time is obviously trying to jump on multiple enemies at once before you hit the ground. It's not as fast as the previous two methods, and to be honest, for the later game, Koopa shells are going to be your go-to, stars will be your go-to. But in the early game, you want to rack up some points there, you can do that, but I wouldn't focus on it too much. So knowing this, when it gets to the end game, when it gets to the red time, or it's the last couple people left, focus on, if you can, racking up those Koopa shell kills. If you have Starman, focus on getting those. You will rack up time, and that will keep you in the game longer, as that time really ticks down really fast when it's red time. And for those that maybe not know what I mean by red time, when it gets down to a certain point in the game, when the game's going on too long, the timer will turn red, and the time will actually tick much faster than normal. So it's very important to try to rack up time as quickly as possible to stay in the game, because you will lose if the time goes zero. And speaking of end game, let's focus on what you need to do to get yourself ready for the later part of the match, the last little bit. Primarily coins. Coins are very important, because when it goes into red time, you're going to need that. Or you get into a clutch situation, you're going to need that. And when it gets to that last little bit, you're going to find yourself in a clutch situation. I find myself good at 300, but preferably at 500 coins by the later part of the match. Time seems to come a lot easier knowing these advanced tricks that I talked about. So focus on coins, especially the first, I would say 25 people that drop off. Focus on getting those coins. When you first start up, get some time so you don't get knocked out. You know, go through a level, rack up some time, get those power-ups to get yourself situated. But primarily, for a good portion of the match, you need to focus on coins. And most advanced players are doing this. So when you get into the red time, you will find yourself, especially for if you have 150 quote-unquote seconds left, which is not really seconds, it's actually less than that when it's in the red time. You want to be spamming your power-up, hitting that X button, hopefully to get Starman, to get power-ups, to continue to stay in the game, get those time, and hopefully for the other person to either get knocked out or time out. Now for the last little advanced tips and tricks I have for you today, we're going to focus a little bit on attacking enemies. So the best way to really attack people, we touched on this a little bit where it didn't seem like a lot of people were using the targeting system. Well, a lot of people are primarily switching from random to attacking. Attacking seems to be your best bet if you really want to knock out KOs. And KOs are important because they will not only rack up some coins for you from the opponent you knock out, but also time. And that's also, again, very important for the end game. This really works when you have multiple people attacking you. So again, switching to attacking targeting is great for this next tip. When you have multiple people attacking you, you will send out multiples of enemies. So you have 4 people attacking you, and you kill or KO a Bowser, well, that sends 4 Bowsers out. You have 6 people targeting you, that's 6 Bowsers. And so on, and so forth. This can get a little maddening, especially when you incorporate enemies like Hammer Bros into it, or Lakitu. I've seen it go really, really insane. I'm sure you probably may have seen it on Twitter. That one video going around where the person just had almost 100 Lakitu on screen. So, it's crazy. It's crazy. But again, if you're looking for KOs and attacking, you want to switch to the attacker format. Now, if you have no one attacking you, I would switch back to random until you get somebody attacking you and then switch back. And the last little bit for enemies, if you're looking to stall, these 3 enemies tend to be the best for stalling just in terms of ease of access to get to and effectiveness. First one is being Bowser. So I usually try to get a Bowser in as early as possible to knock players out and hopefully to multiply. Bowser's a good one to stall, especially towards endgame, because if a person doesn't have the Starman, he's either going to have to wait to jump around it or hopefully knock it out with 6 fireballs. Another one is Hammer Bros. Hammer Bros are maddening for those cheap hits, cheap kills, and not only that, usually a player will try to wait to try to knock it out or try to jump around it. So again, great for stalling time. And the last little bit is Cheap Cheeps. If you can send a bunch of Cheap Cheeps to your opponent, that's Dreaded Stage 2-2. You will get some stalling on the other opponent there. Not only that, man, is it good for cheap deaths. That's probably tributes to their name there. Lord knows it's happened to me. Freaking Cheap Cheeps. But that's all I have for today, guys. I'm hoping that these advanced tips and tricks will help improve your game, or better yet, keep you into the game. Again, I feel like Nintendo needs to work on a few things to bring in more casuals to Super Mario 35 to spicing things up, and I hope they do that soon. I hope that with the next special event, that happens. But guys, thank you for watching. If you like this video, consider subscribing. I do 2 videos a week. Check out the description box below for my Twitter, Discord, the Kaiju Club Discord, as well as my Twitch channel, which I stream 4 days a week. And this weekend, we got a marathon going on at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on Saturday. Should be a lot of fun. Guys, have a wonderful day, and I will catch you next time.